Hello, welcome. I just want to share a bit of our heart with Connect during COVID-19 and why we really started this site. We recognize that as the coronavirus has disrupted our life, and for many of us, we're trying to practice social distancing, and it often has led to us becoming socially isolated. And so with this site, our heart is to meet kind of three needs of people within Vancouver, and that's to help meet some physical needs, whether that's getting groceries or medication for people, or social needs to try and provide opportunity for phone calls or just to have someone to talk to. But we also desire to meet a spiritual need. So we recognize that we're a holistic person. And so this is where we started, where we're going to start these practices of peace. As we realize that in our lives, we have practices and rhythms that begin to form us. For instance, if you work out, there's these physical rhythms of working out and going to the gym, and it begins to form you, to form your muscles and to form your physique. In the same way, different practices and rhythms begin to form us emotionally and spiritually. And so as we look at these different rhythms, whether it's the way that we relate to our phone, the way that we relate to a whole bunch of other things, that often we can be drawn towards worry and anxiety, or we can put in practices that form us away from worry and towards peace. And so this is our heart in this kind of series of practices of peace. And so very practically what they're going to look like is we're going to run some live events with a bit of teaching and reflection on these different practices, and an opportunity for interaction and an opportunity to kind of move towards kind of a holistic view of life. And so for myself and other people that have started this site, we are followers of Jesus that live in Vancouver. And so our desire is to actually present these practices in light of Jesus and his teaching. And so regardless of your spiritual background, regardless of what you might come, we believe that Jesus has something to offer. And that, in fact, Jesus has been one of the most influential people in all of history. A historian from Yale says this incredible thing about Jesus. He said, regardless of what anyone may personally think or believe about him, Jesus of Nazareth has been the dominant figure in the history of Western culture for almost 20 centuries. If it were possible with some sort of super magnet to pull out of that history every scrap of metal bearing at least a trace of his name, how much would be left? It is from his birth that most of the human race dates its calendar. It is by his name that millions curse, and by his name millions pray. And so our desire is to look at the wisdom of Jesus, who's been one of the most influential people in all of Western civilization, and to see what does he say about worry, anxiety, and is there any practices from his teaching and his life that can help us be formed into people of peace. So I encourage you to stay connected and to keep your eyes open for these live events that'll come. Thank you, and see you soon.